What's up, everybody? I'm Scott.
I'm Jason.
And you are listening to Liquid Kernedge, a fall episode of Liquid Kernedge, an autumn episode.
It's getting cold too, my friend. The weather is coming down very quickly.
Oh my gosh, man! Frankie has a sweater on, so that's how you know it's getting cold up in Kingman.
Wow.
I mean,
I know.
It's getting bad, man. It dropped down to what, the 80s for you guys this weekend?
No, we were 62.
Ooh.
Yeah, no,
Burn.
we were cold. I was up in Vegas this weekend, and it was in the 50s up there, and I was like, oh, geez, not enjoying this at all.
'Tis the season, you know. It's the fall season here in Arizona, the Southwest, so you have a lot of beautiful days, but every so often you get that little bit of a cold snap in there, and it'll make you rethink how heavy of a sweater you need in the morning, because we certainly won't need it in the afternoon.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. It's anyways, I guess the good thing is that it's beautiful. I mean, when it's 65, 70, it is beautiful out. But it's been a little colder. It's been a little colder.
You know, I'm looking forward to getting down to the valley this weekend, have a little bit of a live Liquid Kernedge interaction. It's been a while since we've recorded in the same room together.
Yeah, you know, and we're gonna have to figure out how to do that, because it's been on our phones, but now we're going to be face to face. We'll have to figure out what's the best way to record to get a good sound.
Probably have to bring out the old microphones and the old laptop and just do it like we did original, you know?
Do it the old school way? Holy crap.
I think so.
Wow. Look at us, huh?
Now, for those that have been paying attention, Jason did lose a bet, and he will be for our Thanksgiving episode next week. We'll have a special drunk history where Jason will be telling us the story of the first Thanksgiving.
I don't even remember what the bet was. So does that delegitimize the bet if I don't remember?
It was about football. It was something crazy. It was I remember it involved the Rams, not the same bet you and my brother made about the Rams and the Cardinals. It was something more realistic, and you lost. It might have been fantasy football for all I know. In fact, I think it was. I think it was fantasy football.
JP was gonna score 143 points. Against you.
Right,
remember, because you had that big. It was the Thursday night game with the Rams and Vikings.
The Rams and the Vikings, yeah. And like 5 of my starters put up 150 points on their own, and
and I said,
he didn't have to score those 5 guys.
Yeah, he goes, you didn't. You said you didn't have to score any points. That's right. So much for leaving it in JP's hands. Oh man,
that's right. Well, that being said, along with you and I being in the same room this weekend, our executive producer Tom and our former intern JP will be with us this weekend too for this special episode.
It's going to be awesome, bro. I'm looking forward to it. I'm
excited. We are going to the Mac and Cheese Festival on Saturday.
We're going to Mac and Cheese Festival.
It's going to be a good, beautiful week, Liquid Kernedge weekend down in Phoenix.
Oh, I'm looking forward to that.
Me too. So, you know, it's funny. We're approaching the end of the year. Actually, before we start, I had a thought, but I do want to point out that let us know what you're doing this weekend. Are you going to a festival? Are you staying home watching football? Are you getting ready for Thanksgiving? Hit us up on Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter, all at Liquid Kernedge. What do you think about Tom's Star Trek gify things? Hit him up at liquid_EP on Instagram and Twitter.
Wow, that was you do that so well, dude. I mean, really, you are so good at doing the prep work on that whole spiel. I love it. It's great.
You know, I'm a born pitchman. What can I say? Yeah. At some point, someone's got to pay me to be a pitchman. Well, the hospital does that up here, but that's different. They pay me to run my mouth like a marathon.
Yeah, you just need to be paid to get, you need to get more paid, right? You need to get more paid to do the same kind of work.
Absolutely. And
go ahead.
It reminds me, we just had evaluation season up there, and you and I were discussing evaluations earlier, and it's funny how people view their annual reviews, you know?
Yeah. Well, I'm coming up on an annual review, and one of the things that we have to do on our annual review is we have to actually do a review also of a fellow coworker. Mm-hmm. And the coworker that I received, I actually had to, provide what she does well, what she doesn't do well, or what things she could do better. Now, she's been there 16 years. She has no aspirations for moving up in the company. She has no aspirations of taking on more of a lead role or promoting herself. She wants to do her job. Mm-hmm. She does her job very well. My question is, what do you write about someone who's doing their job well that you don't really want to get better. I mean, they do their job well. Just let them do their job and they're going to do fine. But, everything is constantly, well, how are you going to get better? What are you going to do to make yourself better? How are you going to move up in the company? How are you going to move up in your own career?
Yeah. And
do we come to a point where we always have to move up in order to be a success?
I don't think so. And I say it like this because I had a past relationship where my significant other didn't think that I moved up fast enough for her taste. And to be quite frankly, I'm a director in my organization. I run multiple projects, and I'm trying to move up and move around, but sometimes those opportunities aren't there, especially in my field. Like, you have to be patient. And sometimes you have to do what you're doing for a while if you want to move up or go to a different organization. But some people, they're good, man. They get to a certain spot. They like the money they make. They like the responsibility they have, and they like the life they're living because of the money they make and the responsibilities they have. And they don't want to go any further. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
Well, and I would agree. Do you remember the story? I don't know, maybe it was a couple months ago, that there was the one of the characters from the Bill Cosby show was found working at a
the son-in-law, the guy's working at
Foods
Trader Joe's. Yeah, he's working
Trader
at Trader
Joe's. Yeah, and everyone was like giving the guy a hard time. Oh my gosh, you're an actor. How can you do that? Shouldn't you be, making millions? Now you're working at a what do you call it? You're working at Trader Joe's, and people were just making these horrible, judgments of the poor guy. And I'm thinking, what's wrong? Why do they do that? Like, why can't it just be what it is and be okay with that he works at Trader Joe's?
And that's where I'm at with it too. It's, people, we all have a different idea of what comfortable is. We all have a different idea of how hard we want to work in life, or what is hard work in life, And some people, they might be maxed out at that job they have and have no aspirations to try and do anything more.
Is that okay though? Do we live in a world where being status quo or being content where you're at is seen as a positive?
Let me ask you this. We spend our entire lives working, trying to get as far as we can so we can be content, right?
Yeah.
So what happens when you meet someone that's content doing what they're doing? They have found that level of happiness that we suppose they're trying to find. They found it. And they found it maybe on a lesser level than what we're supposed to go out and go get. Who are we to judge?
But Scott, you have to admit, we hear judgments all the time.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I mean, if you're not a multimillionaire, then you're a loser. Or if you're not kind of moving up in the company, you're basically going to just be, you're going to be shoved to the side, and someone's going to move ahead of you. And what's wrong with you for not wanting to aspire to something else?
And when you talk about that, I think about my dad. My dad was a highway patrolman for 35 years, and he was a very shrewd man. And he realized that once he promoted from sergeant to lieutenant, he went from being hourly to being salary. And all those wrecks he had to work and all those things he got to do as a sergeant on an hourly basis, and he got to rack up, extra hours for and extra pay for, were going to go away. So I think he probably achieved sergeant in the late 80s, early 90s, maybe the late 80s, and spent until 2011 as a sergeant. So that's almost 25, maybe 25 years plus as a sergeant. He could have moved up. He could have become a lieutenant, could have become a colonel, but at the same point, why? It would have affected the quality of life for his family. We would have had to have moved around. He would have gone to salary, and he would have actually lost money on the deal. So is it his fault for not advancing, for figuring out the sweet spot?
Well, and I guess the argument there, though, is some might say he could have aspired to be something much greater than a sergeant. He could have been something revered as a high-ranking position in DPS, and he didn't do that. So some might say, well, you became content. You could have been a lot more, but you didn't do that.
Yeah, but who does that fucking matter? I mean,
for some people it does.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, though, if he's cool with it, if his family's cool with it, his friends are cool with it, because he's happy, he's living his life, who cares?
Well, I know, but I mean, we can't deny the fact that there are some people that look at where you are in a career, and if you're not moving up, you're moving out.
Yeah, and I
So
bet
some might say that your dad, because he didn't move up, he was content, and he, I agree, made the right decision for him and his family. But some might say, well, yeah, but you could have been so much more, and you just like gave it up, you turned it down.
well, we
So
can
you're
all
not aspiring to be the best, you're just aspiring to be middle of the road.
see now that's where the key is right there. You see, you're inspired to be the best. We all have a different idea of what we're trying to be the best at.
Yeah.
And
Mm-hmm.
and that is the difference right there. I think if you are strictly career oriented and that's all you care about, your job, your money, how much you make, you want to get as high as you can and go as far as you can, I say more power to you. But this world takes so many different types of people to make it go around. It shouldn't matter, man. If I don't want to promote anymore where I'm at, and I can do this job for the next 30 years and look at myself in the mirror every day and be okay with it, knowing what I have to do when I have to do it, and they like the fact my company likes the fact I'm doing it. It's nobody's business but mine. If you're happy doing what you're doing for the next 30 years in your company, and you don't want to move up, that's your business. But if you want to move up and you want to be able to do whatever you want to do in United Healthcare, that's up to you to make the move. Nobody can take that away from you.
Yeah, no, I mean,
And
I'm in agreement with you. I mean, the the people who look at someone and say, "Oh, you're not driven enough. You're not moving up fast enough. Oh, you're not making the changes you need to make more money." Yeah, I possibly a way to look at it, but uh, what does that mean? If it means sacrificing your family, like your dad, or if it means
yeah,
sacrificing having to move around all over, yeah,
it,
then I guess I won't. I guess I won't be driven enough. I'll be fine where I'm at.
and I think that's the question that you have to answer is yeah, I'm not driven to do that, but I'm driven to do other things in life that I deem more important. I'm driven to take care of my family, to enjoy those things I can do with my family, to spend time with my friends, to get to go do the fun things. There is more to life than working. I understand that we have to work for a good majority of our life, but I'll be the first to admit I go to work every morning between 6 and 6:30, so I can be done at 3 o'clock every day, because I see my job as a job. When I'm off the clock, I am out living my life. I try to do the best of my job whenever I'm there. I try to take care of everything I have to take care of, and sometimes it does bleed over my personal life. But when I'm not working, I don't want to think about it, because that's where my life is. I work to live. I don't live to work.
And so I guess this would lead me to the next question, which I think I know how you'd answer. If someone came to you and said, you know what, I am just very content working at McDonald's. I am so content at working at McDonald's, and I could work there the next 30 years. You'd be okay with that if they're okay with it.
Yeah, that's not my problem. Like,
You wouldn't pass a judgment on them. You wouldn't
they're not.
pass a judgment on them saying, oh, I've worked at McDonald's for 15 years, 20 years, 30 years.
And some people can make a very good living working in the fast food industry because they become regional managers, district managers, whatever. And that's fine. It's not me to judge. If they just want to work the fry machine for 15 years because that's all they can do mentally and they're happy with it, good for them.
See, I'm going to call a little bit of bullshit, Scott, because I know for a fact that if a girl came to you and she was gorgeous and she said she worked at McDonald's for the last 15 years, you would not even approach her.
Yeah, you're
Right?
probably right.
Why?
Well,
Because we have a certain estimation, and I'm at fault too. And I'm saying it as a fault. I'm not saying it as those people are losers, and
that's
I'm
more
saying it. I
that's more of a
shouldn't.
stigma. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a stigma, right? Like, oh, you're a successful fry machine worker at McDonald's. Great.
Yeah. Now, if she never moved past trying to fix the McFlurry machine for 15 years, that you're right. That stigma would be like, all right, you're not all there. But if you've stayed in a company and you've at least moved around and done different things, and you've achieved a certain level of success within the company, and they take care of you, I don't think it's that big of a deal.
We in society, though, I mean, really, I mean, we I'm sure we make part of our establishments of who is a success and who is a failure based on what kind of work career they have.
I think so. I think
Like,
I
I mean, if your dad worked 30 plus years and was a sanitation worker, it would have a different stigma or a different opinion than your dad working as a sergeant for DPS.
Yeah, I think during their actual time working, maybe, but once you hit the retired life, I don't think it matters anymore. I think once you have that government pension, you have everything that they set up for through the government, and you don't have to do any of that anymore. I don't think it matters. It's all how well you set yourself up for the long game.
Maybe.
And that's it, man. Like I said, my dad figured out where he could really milk the system, and not be subject to a salary to where he could work 80 hours and get paid the same, or he could work 80 hours and make time and a half, and put my brother and I through school. That'd be bad than I.
Yeah.
I mean, you have to be smart about that. If people want to promote, man, I say more power to you. Do what you got to do. And I'm 37 years old, and I'm getting very dangerously close to that same spot, and I know my brother is too. Of how high and how far do you want to go versus how happy do you want to be doing what you're doing? Because
and maybe that's the difference. Is some people, their happiness is in the journey of moving up the ladder.
Yeah, exactly. I am very happy with the fact knowing that I can come and go as I please. I do damn well at what I do, and I'm good at it. And it gives me enough variety. Like, I could do different things. It'll keep me interested. And the company I work for takes care of me. So that's, all those things I just described are all things that a lot of people want in a job. So once you get it, it makes it hard to look at another organization saying, yes, I need to go there because I can move up. Because, it comes down to culture, comfort level, what are you doing? I mean, the community you're in. I mean, there's so many other factors you have to factor in before you decide if you want to, if that's the lifestyle you want to live,
Yeah, well, and I do feel that the generation, the younger generation that's out there right now, I do feel that their sense of worth is tied to a dollar amount. That sometimes it's I only got a 2% raise, and I think I deserve a 10% raise, so I'm going to go find a job that's going to pay me a 10% raise. And so their aspirations are not necessarily driven by title as it's driven by money.
Yeah, and there are people I work with that say, I took this class, I have this degree, so this is my minimum salary that you should be paying me. And I have to sit there and say, well, in your mind that's true, but in reality, you don't have the work experience to command that kind of money for what you're doing. You don't have the experience, you don't have the work history. You just have a piece of paper that said you learned good for a couple of years. So, that alone isn't enough to give you the money you think you command. You have to show me that you're worth it.
Well, and that's the thing is that, I mean, I have a friend right now who they make very good money, and they're thinking about leaving the job that they're in right now to go find a job that's going to give them a 15-20% raise, simply because, hey, I'm worth it. I can do it. Yeah. And I'm like, oh, I don't think that you're going to find it. And sure enough, they're finding it. There are people that are willing to pay. And so maybe that's part of that. I'm never content is, you always have to be looking for more money, because every year that you're stuck at a job where you don't get a raise, for example, is a year that you could have gotten more money by just, hopping from job to job to job to job.
But ultimately, though, you have to like what you do. If you don't like what you do, it doesn't make a difference in the world. And that's the most important thing I can ever preach to anybody is, if you want to chase that money, you want to make sure that you're going to make all that money, at least like what you do. Because if you hate what you do, going to work every day sucks. Enjoy what you're doing. Enjoy the process. I think that's what people need to remember is if you're going to chase that dollar and you're going to chase that, you need to feel like you're not, unless you're moving up, you're not doing enough. You need to take the time to smell the roses and enjoy it and realize that there's more to life than work. And if money's going to define you, then I feel sorry for you.
Well, and I think, one thing that kind of compound that is you have to like what you do, yes, but sometimes you need to have years of experience to be able to be good at what you do.
Yeah, they said it takes 5 years of doing your job consistently to become an expert?
Yeah, I don't know what the numbers are. I think
it's 10,000 hours.
Okay. I transferred from the Kingman Regional Medical Center's IT department to a job of similar requirements. But I can tell you that the IT analyst that I was at Kingman Regional when I started, and the IT analyst that I did after 5 years at Kingman Regional, and the IT analyst that I am at now, the experience at Kingman Regional made me the better IT analyst. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I wouldn't have had that just by, okay, I have a job for a year, and now I'm going to move to another job for a year. Oh, I'm going to move to another job for a year. I wouldn't have gotten that experience. The stability of being at Kingman Regional Medical Center was what um, was what made a difference.
Yeah, and
So
I think you have to be patient with that and understand that those that want to move up and do well, people like me, where I interview people for different stuff all the time. I see resumes. If I see you're job hopping, and I'll be honest, I look at where you went to school too. If it's a brick and mortar school, if it's an online school, that makes a difference to me. All that stuff makes a difference to me, and how far, if I'm going to offer you a job or anything.
yeah, my son Alex took some time off from school to take care of some health issues with his mom, and in a recent email he sent me, he just said, "Dad, I'm in IT, and frankly, I just don't have the desire to go after the big paying job. I'm not. That's not what I want. I want to do something like out in nature. I want to." I don't know, work for a national park, or I want to work for the Forest Service, or do something like that. And I'm thinking, Alex,
That's great.
You're probably sure you may not make the kind of money that you would make if you were, working in an IT job. But that doesn't mean that you're going to be poor. That doesn't mean that you can't make a great life for yourself,
Oh yeah.
And I'm thinking to myself, what's wrong with this world? Because I feel there is a lot of pressure. You have to make a lot of money, and you have to have a job that has a successful career path. And there's a stigma if you work at a job that's kind of a low end job, or a job that doesn't have an ambitious career path. Pressure, and I think on a lot of people. And I think that some people chase the money so bad that once you get to where you were, that's when you find out, yeah, chasing the money is not all the answer.
And that's where I'm at. When my career started, I was in banking, and I made pretty decent money being a loan officer when the market crashed 10 years ago, and then I lost it all and I got hired at my current job. I had to take a 50% pay cut, work my way back up, and it made me appreciate the money you make and the things you can get by it. But I'll be honest, man, I was thinking about today, some of the best times of my life, of my late 20s, are when I was back to making $16 an hour, because I had to start off at square one and I had to relearn the job, and I had to make something out of nothing. And I think you've said this in the past too. Those times when you were living in your car and you were living in that apartment, you had nothing, you had to start over. I mean, that you gain a certain sense of perspective that money is not everything. And yeah, it keeps the lights on, but sometimes there's more important lessons to learn in life on how much money you can make in a short period of time,
Yeah, because I think you said it best earlier. Everybody would love to be able to work the job that they're most happy with if pay was not an issue.
Yeah.
Like if money wasn't an issue and you were there, basically, I just want to work a job that I love doing. But money's not an issue. I do it for free. I do it volunteer. Everyone would love to do that. The problem is most of us don't. Why? Because unfortunately, money is an issue, and we have to have jobs that pay the bills and take care of our families. And I guess I just hope that.
What the moral of the story is here?
What's that?
Find a job you love and live within your means. Try not to overextend yourself. I know sometimes in life that happens, but live within your means. Enjoy the job you have. Enjoy the process, man. Enjoy the ride. You might you might think you're in your dream job now, but that might take you to a job you never thought you'd have that you love even more.
Yeah, and I guess to kind of further that, it's for me, it's also the realization that just because someone else has something you don't doesn't mean it's worth everything to try to get what they have.
I agree completely.
I mean, like, I don't need to compare myself to someone who makes a heck of a lot more money than I do, while we're looking for houses right now, and sometimes we say, how do people afford a $500,000-$600,000 home. I don't get how they afford a $600,000 home. That being said, I realize, you know what, Jason, it's okay that you don't own a $600,000 home.
Yeah.
You know, you're not a loser. They're not a success because they own a $600,000 home and I don't.
No, I agree.
So
I agree.
I think that, you know, trying to find that balance, that happiness of, you know, being content, it's something I think we all deal with. Some people deal with it great. You know, like some people, hey, I make my salary and it's not a lot, but I'm happy and I'm good.
You know, I think that's where I'm at in my life right now. I'm very happy with the position in life I am. Mentally, I'm very mentally clear right now. My job is going well. Physically, I feel great. And I've got great friends, man. You know, like I've got some social circles between the work and gym and my personal life that are just a lot of fun. And I feel like I'm just in a good spot in life. And I'm in no hurry to try to change it up to where, because someone thinks that I could be doing more. Because at the end of the day, it's like, you don't know where I've been. You don't know what I've done. Well, so don't question me on what I'm doing and how I'm doing it.
And also, you know, what makes your path of career so much better than mine, that the way I'm doing mine is not adequate or not, you know, a good path. I mean, frankly, how many people have we gone out, have been out there where they make so much money and they're miserable, absolutely miserable. They don't have friends, or they are not, you know, respected with their, you know, with their family. You know what I mean? So money in and of itself is not the successful part. You know, obviously, I think everyone wants to be a success at what they do at work. I mean, no one goes to work hoping that they're not a successful person. I sometimes think that there's so much pressure to be constantly, you got to move up. You got to move up. If you're not moving up, then, you know, you're not being a force to be reckoned with. And when I was doing a review of this woman, that's the first thing I thought. It's like, you're asking me to give her a constructive criticism. And I'm asking, well, why? She does the job. She does an amazing job. She has no aspirations to moving up in the world. So I can't say, well, you know, she needs to try to take a more leadership role, or no, let her do what she needs to do and be okay with that.
Yeah.
But
let her be her.
Let her do what she's going to do. So
I think we beat that subject to a dead horse. So I do want to tell you a quick funny story that happened in the gym today. Something I'm very proud of. I got to explain to a millennial what a safe word was.
No, come on.
Oh, dude, seriously. We were sitting around before our class started. We were sitting, you know, around the corner. There was, you know, 4 women and myself and this other guy. We're sitting there just you know, cracking jokes and bullshitting. And he showed, like, where he had, like, it looked like rug burn on his arm. So, oh, you should use your safe word. And he was like, what's a safe word? And everyone just kind of like dropped their heads, started laughing. It's like, how do you not know what a safe word is? I was like, you know, pineapple, Oklahoma, mine, blueberry pancakes. You know, a word that you say in a moment of panic when you're with someone of the opposite sex that you want them to stop. It's like, no, man, we don't do that. We just say stop.
Wow. Okay.
And the woman next to me was like, yeah, but when someone says don't stop or just, there's so many different variations of stop. You can't just say stop. You have to have a word. He goes, no, man, when you say safe word, I'm thinking when all my dudes and I roll up to a party and we have to get out of there quick, we have a safe word.
Oh,
and that was
geez.
one of those, you shouldn't start a sentence with my dudes and I have a safe word. So
you need to, Scott, one thing I would tell you is you need to have a safe, Scott, the biggest thing though, is you need to have a safe word that you can say with a ball gag in your mouth.
And that's what I tried to tell him. That's what I said. You have to.
Because blueberry pancake, see, it's hard.
Even
sassafras, mine's sassafras. So you can say it with a ball gag in your mouth.
Even Oklahoma or pineapple. You can't get it out. You can't get it out.
Yeah,
so the kid got a life lesson today from the adults, and I felt pretty proud of that.
You know what, Scott? I think you should be really content on that. Tell us your safe word on Instagram, Facebook, or Twitter at Liquid Kernedge. If you want to establish a safe word with our executive producer, you can go to @liquid_EP.
Yes. Help Tom pick a safe word for you. I can see it now. LaForge.
Yeah. Oh gosh.
Commander Riker.
Yeah.
Picard.
No. Exactly.
On that note, Jason, take us home.
Hey, great conversation. Hey, be content with whatever you do in this world, and we'll love you. We'll have a podcast for you to listen to. That was Scott. I'm Jason. And as always, if you never know quite what to say, just have yourself some Liquid Kernedge.